Oh, yeah. Across the meeting and. Yeah. Probably shaved a couple of years off my life.
Yeah, he was, something even bothered him.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and it was good. So it's up in the air.
What was that? Very
There was misunderstanding of positions and.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. And I think you said we want to have a lot of. I think you said that we.
So really, is that it?
Yeah. What's it entirely bigger? Yeah, exactly.
Right. Right. Yeah, they're all. You okay?
I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand.
Sure.
So they had to.
Do you want us to? No, please say.
There's not an empty seat over there, I'm thinking of something, which looks like we may be. I can pass. Thank you.
I say, you need me back. People gonna be online.
I had two people reach out, but I gave them the link, so we'll see. Yep, I got one.
No, that's fine. I just need to have to leave your audio.
Okay. Why don't we, my thought is probably easiest to start with them. With the person.
I think so.
Okay.
So, introduction.
Okay.
And let people know that they need to talk, and then I'll sit down and I'll have to.
Yep, absolutely.
We'll figure it out.
Absolutely. Do wherever you like, sir. What's wrong?
What's that?
What's wrong? You just have a concern with your face.
I'm just generally concerned.
Okay.
I think we'll be
Okay,
fine.
that's your general concern face. Okay. I think we're off to a good start. Anyway. The bar's pretty low. Yes, sir. I will.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
They won't conflict with each other, they're not, is it just standing, you know, kind
Ready to go? Better? All right, is this better, ma'am? All right, my apologies. All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Chuck McLean. I'm the Chief Public Utility Law Judge at the Maryland Public Service Commission. We're here today, it's July 24th, 2024, approximately 6:30 p.m. at the Severn Library. We're conducting the first of 3 public comment hearings in case number 9729, which was filed on March 24th, and it's captioned Maryland Water Service, Inc.'s application to revise and consolidate rates, charges, and tariff provisions for water and sewage disposal services. The company is seeking a total increase of approximately $1,581,000, as well as seeking the consolidation of its water rates into uniform rate schedules for each customer class across its Maryland service territories. The Office of People's Counsel, which is an independent state agency that represents the Maryland residential ratepayers' interest, has filed testimony, and they are recommending an increase of approximately $1,280,000. The commission staff, which is made up of accountants, engineers, attorneys, and economists, have also made a recommendation. They are recommending an increase of approximately $1,172,000. In terms of where this case stands, as I noted, this is the first of 3 public comment hearings. There's another one tomorrow in LaVale, Maryland, which is just beyond Cumberland. And on August 5th will be in Edgewood, up in Hartford County. One more round of testimony is also due to be filed on August 12th, 2024, and evidentiary hearings are currently scheduled for August 26th through August 28th. After the evidentiary hearings, the parties will file briefs, and my proposed order is scheduled to be issued by September 26th, 2024. The purpose of this evening's hearing is to hear from the public what your concerns are with this case. Any comments that are made tonight at these public comment hearings, and any written comments. I know some of you have submitted written comments. Will be considered when I issue my order. The deadline for submission of written comments is August 9th, 2024. Comments may be submitted by either electronically through the commission's website. If anyone needs help doing that, I can certainly show you how to do that after the hearing. Or you may mail them directly to the commission. Attention, Jamie Bergen, Chief Clerk, 6 St. Paul Street, 16th floor, Baltimore, Maryland, 21202. Just ensure that you reference case number 9729 so your comments make it to the correct file. As this is a pending case, the only questions I can answer are procedural questions. But there are representatives from the company, OPC, and staff that hopefully will be able to answer questions you have, if any. Before I open it up to the public, I'll have the applicant introduce themselves, as well as attorneys from staff and the Office of People's Counsel, and then we'll get underway.
Thank you, Judge McLean, and thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. My name is David Buellmans. I'm with the law firm Gordon Feinblatt. Here with my colleague Maxwell Cook. We represent the company Maryland Water Service, and it's a pending application before the Public Service Commission. I'm also joined this evening by the president of the Maryland Water Service, Nate Spriggs. Your Honor, Nate has prepared a presentation. Would you like him to go after?
Why don't we have the parties, the attorneys representing staff and OPC introduce themselves, and then Mr. Spriggs can give his presentation.
Okay, the only point I'll add is we have several representatives here from the company, as Judge McLean indicated. We're going to stick around after the hearing, and we're going to be here to answer your questions. So we look forward to speaking with you this evening.
Good evening. I'm Kenneth Albert with the staff of the Maryland Public Service Commission. whenever a utility comes in and proposes an increase in rates, as we have here, we participate as a party, and we have our economists, our engineers, and our accountants present a position that we pursue as in testimony and in the hearing. I'll be around afterwards and happy to give you my business card in terms of if you want to contact me, just the logistics of filing comments in this case. And I do urge you, to the extent you do have opinions here, putting them in writing, and they can be filed online. No need for any paper copies, and it's a fairly simple process. And I can help you. So People's Council, OPC is here. They're also available to assist you in actually submitting those comments so that they're presented to the commission.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mila Kyle. I am with the Office of People's Council. Basically, we advocate.
Can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? No? Oh, so today, hello. I don't know if it gave out on me. I'm gonna depend on my voice. I'll start over. My name is Milan Tekle-Mikhail. I'm with the Maryland Office of People's Council. We advocate on behalf of residential ratepayers as a class, not individually. And basically, I'm here to get your feedback on this case and take it into consideration as OPC continues to participate in this case. And we've already submitted direct testimony as well as rebuttal in this case. So we're just trying to get more feedback as we continue to participate. Like Mr. Albert said, I will be around. So if you have any questions, please feel free. Thank you.
You need the podium, sir?
Yeah, please, that'd be nice, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yes.
Judge, if you could mute your.
Let me know when you're ready. Good evening. My name is Nate Spriggs. I'm employed by Nexus Water Group, the parent company of Maryland Water Services, and I serve as president for the Mid-Atlantic region. Also joining me is Matthew Schillinger, who is our vice president of finance, as well as Jamison Dorrance of our operations team. In my role as president, I oversee the operations of water and sewer utilities in 4 states. Those utilities are Community Utilities of Pennsylvania, Massanutten Public Service Corporation, and Colchester Utilities in Virginia. Montague Sewer and Water Services in New Jersey, and Maryland Water Services. I would like to thank everyone for attending this evening and look forward to hearing your remarks as we navigate through these proceedings. During our customer commentary, I will do my best to capture your questions and concerns as they are presented, and I will provide follow-up responses as required. Thank you. I would like to now take a few moments to provide an overview of why Maryland Water Services has requested a rate increase from the Maryland Public Service Commission. Since our last rate case in 2021, the company has completed significant projects throughout each location within the Maryland Water Service systems. I will go over them in detail shortly, but first, I would like to fully express that the company understands that no one likes rate increases, certainly in difficult economic times, and makes every effort to keep operating expenses to a reasonable minimum while maintaining a system that produces safe and reliable services. However, a rate increase is needed to finance ongoing operations, capital investments, compensate our employees, and allow the company the opportunity to earn a reasonable return on its investment. At this time, I would like to speak about some of the capital projects that were completed since the last rate case. In our province's system, our well 3 experienced deficiencies early this year. This project was opened as an emergency to investigate the failure and to replace the pump and column pipe in order to bring well 3 back online as swiftly as possible. The total cost for this project was $136,000. Also in provinces, we replaced the filter media and variable frequent drive. This project included the inspection of 4 sand filters at provinces, the removal of the spent filtration media, and installation of all new media in all 4 filters. This project also included the design for a backwash system and pump, which will be installed and connected to SCADA at a future date. The cost for this project was $143,000. Province's water line. This project completed the engineering design phase of the next round of water line replacements, focusing on approximately 900 linear feet of main on Citadel Drive. The cost of the engineering design work for this project was $46,000. And our Green Ridge systems. At our Green Ridge location, we had a service and water line replacement. The project focused on upgrading existing age water line infrastructure and associated service lines. The targeted location addressed during this project were based on recommendations by our operations team and special focus on repairing lifts that either have previously been patched or at risk for near future breakage. The final scope resulted in repairing or replacing 9 valves, 11 customer service connections, 2 curb stops, 2 curb boxes, 2 water meters, 1 hydrant, and installed 2 new insertion valves throughout the Green Ridge system. The total cost of this project was $367,000. Lakeside Vista. At our Lakeside Vista location, we performed a water line replacement project. This project scope focused on the replacement of approximately 800 linear feet of 6-inch water main from between wells 2 and 3. The water main went through several properties and under lengths of fencing, directional drill technologies were implemented to minimize the impact to customers. The pump and column pipe were also replaced in well 3 as they had reached the end of their useful life. This project's cost was $366,000. Finally, Pinto and Highland Estates. A Highland water line replacement. This project scope focused on replacement of approximately 910 linear feet of 4-inch water main from the treatment building to the end of Crossroads Court. The target location was selected based on operations feedback and prior main break patterns. Along with the water main itself, 11 service connections were replaced. And 2 new blow-off valves were installed. The total cost of this project was $472,000. Sewer main replacement number 2 within the Pinto system. This encompassed multiple scopes, all focused on repairing aging sewer infrastructure. The 2002 overview included the replacement of 75 linear feet of 8-inch sewer main on Winslow Street and replacement of 24 linear feet of 8-inch sewer main near the car wash off State Highway 220. The 2023 scope covered closed circuit TV investigations and targeted line and lateral cleanings throughout the system with a total cost of $226,000. There was also electrical upgrades in the Pinto system. Based on input from the operations team, the system had pressing electrical needs. The job served to replace aged electrical panels at 2 of the lift stations and to purchase and install a dedicated permanent backup generator at the Pinto Lagoon Treatment Building, totaling $168,000. This concludes my presentation, and I would like to thank each of you for your undivided attention and the opportunity to speak to you. I look forward to hearing your comments and concerns tonight, and my team and I will be available after this meeting to answer individual questions. On behalf of Nexus Water Group and Maryland Water Services, I thank you.
Ms. Bowman, can you hear us? We've got one person participating virtually. Ms. Bowman? I'll do a good start there. All right. We've got a lot of people signed up to speak tonight, which is fantastic. But just so everyone can have an opportunity to speak, I'm going to initially limit everyone to 3 minutes. And I'll give you, when you hit 2 minutes, I'll just give you a one minute sign. If you want to just adopt somebody else's comments, you can do that too. And once we get through everyone, if we have additional time, I'll be more than happy to continue calling up people for a second bite at the apple. Okay. All right. With that, we'll start with Shirley Singleton, and I apologize if I mispronounce anyone's names. Ms. Singleton? Okay, all right, sure, yeah, and you don't necessarily, if you signed up, there's no obligation. All right, okay, all right, James and Beverly Tondren? Would you like to speak, ma'am? Yeah. Okay, if I could just get you to come up here, please. And if I can just get you to state and spell your name into this. So
I'm facing this way.
sure, you can face however you like, however you're comfortable, ma'am. If you want to. No,
However
the
you-
company yeah, however you're comfortable is the most important thing.
Okay,
So just state and spell your name, because we do have a court reporter here, taking everything down.
okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Beverly Fondren, Beverly. Y'all can't hear me. Beverly Fondren, Beverly, Fondren, F is in Frank, Ondren. Okay, so my question is, I understand the need for the repairs and for the repairs to be paid for. My real concern is listening to the costs that were spread out by for the various repairs in the various sectors. Provinces, we're in good shape. My concern is that we're having to pay for repairs in other parts of the state that we get no benefit from. So, all right.
Thank you, ma'am. Elizabeth Kirby?
Another short person. Can you all hear me? No? Okay, well, my name is Elizabeth Kirby, Elizabeth, last name Kirby, Kirby. And I have a lot of questions. My first question is, so when were these projects completed?
Provide an answer.
You will provide an answer. Well, I still
It's being
need,
recorded.
in order to give you, follow up with my other questions, I need an answer to that. So were they completed in 2024 at least, or 23?
It's various times.
Okay.
I think you said 21. It's various times.
All right, so my question is then, based on 21, 23, 22, whatever year it may have been, how has your company been functioning since then? Because from what I understand, some of these monies are to pay salaries, right? And so how have you been functioning since then? Have you not paid all your people, or have they taken a cut in their pay? And then with that, what percentage of this amount that we are going to pay is gonna offset their salaries, right? Are they all gonna get a raise, 1%, 2%, whatever it may be? So some of those questions, I understand as Ms. Fondren, that there are costs to any projects. But again, if I add up anything that applied to us, that was only $225,000. Why should we pay again for somebody else's benefits? I believe that's all the questions that I have in comments. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. J.W. Perry? Apparently my town's another resident. Okay.
HP? You don't speak? Okay.
All right, Cynthia Williams?
Good evening. The name is Cynthia, Cynthia. The last name Williams, Williams. Hi, everybody. I'm Cynthia Williams. For those of you who don't know me, I'm president of the Province's Civic Association. Can you hear me okay? And I have a number of objections. I speak for the 914 homeowners who live in the provinces. Many of you I see here in the audience. MWS bought our water system, our private water system, from another company in 2021. And every year since then, they have raised our rates. And they want to raise our rates yet again. I understand that there are expenses, of course, projects, things needing updating. I can understand that. However, however, it seems to me that the other communities' expenses are a lot more than our communities. And like a previous speaker said, we don't want to pay for everybody else's upgrades as well as our own. So therefore, we object to the consolidation of rates. We don't believe that's fair to the province's homeowners. The provinces, there are many retirees, there are many military families that live in our community. And it seems like the rate of return that MWS is asking for is, and the increase in prices are astronomical. Their rate of return for last year, according to their documentation, was 1.78%. And they're proposing a fair rate of return is 8.22%. And that's way too astronomical. And the 93% increase in prices for the province's homeowners is just astronomical. And I can't imagine how everybody's going to be able to afford that. Some people won't. MWS is a private company. They have a monopoly on our water system, and we need protection from this kind of price gouging. So let me see what else. So I guess that's it. So please take all that into consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Robert Reinhammer?
Rinehamer.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna be talking a little bit different from everybody else. Everybody else has been talking about the water company and that type of thing. I bought my house in the provinces in 1980, okay? That gives me 44 years here, and I'm second generation because provinces were here at least since 75, if not earlier.
Yes.
There are 14 people, 14 houses on the street that I live in, okay? Of those 14, only 4 in the last 44 years have gone up for sale, okay? Which means that everybody that lives on the same street that I do has been here for at least 40 years or longer. Take a look around. No offense, ladies, but they're all my age. I'm 74 years old, okay? I'm retired, okay? I am living on a fixed income. I am a retired pharmacy tech. When we did our rate increase 2 years ago, I know people that had to shift from tier 3 medications to tier 1 medications because they couldn't afford the copay on their medications. Tier 1 medications are the oldest available. Most doctors don't want to use T1 medications unless they have to. Okay? If they have to shift, then they're losing their they're losing health benefits. In order to keep their T3s, they have to either cut down on food, they have to cut down on travel, cut down on social things that are necessary for an older person to stay in good health. So my question to the companies, I know what you're planning, and I know you're not trying to hurt anybody, but I look around this room and I wonder how many of us are still going to be alive next year when we have to cut back on our medications, when we have to cut back on the food, our social contacts, things that are necessary to keep people alive and functioning. Thank you.
George Rios?
I have to do my best to be prepared, but it's a hard topic for everyone here.
Sir, before you start, can I just get you to state your name and spell it?
My name is Jorge, Jorge. Last name Rijos, Rijos. I've been living here since 33 years plus. And I just retired I'm second everybody I'm saying here. One thing that surprised me is, with all the respect, that you mentioned how much it costs, etc., but you didn't give us a time when this happened, or it has gonna be accomplished. And then regarding, you mentioned salaries, but it's a big burden, you have to pay everybody. But you didn't mention, is people actually working at the company, as a whole company, or it's because the involvement of the company that you have subcontracted to do the job? Okay, and like everybody said, you just mentioned a minor portion of what Collins had to be committed to pay. Therefore, what we have to pay for everybody else, and we do, what we're gonna do to start some sort of payment or arrangement to be able to this community that involve most of all citizens and retirees, etc. That's what the person mentioned before. I mean, they're gonna suffer from much to say, okay, this is how to meet, let's meet and how to mitigate these circumstances. How we're gonna pay it, what is involved us, and come up with a payment. And then you need to provide us with all that information that we like it, okay, to make it a fair adjustment. Because you're doing your job, but it's affecting us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Irish Rios?
Oh, that's
I
fine.
thought it was the
I want
same
to talk, no, I want to talk.
Thank you.
My name is Iris Rijos, Rijos. And the Iris is I, like a flower, Iris. It's,
Okay,
I understand everything talking, but in the end, they're gonna do it whatever they want. Why? Because they're looking up. Only 1 or 2 person coming with the budget. How much money you make? You're not gonna tell you 400, 500, and we have to pay not $3 like we pay. We're gonna be almost $10. For big family, we're gonna pay $300 plus accounting. Because remember, we have to pay 2 bills, not one. 2 bills. I live in this house 33 years. We pay, when we move over here, $30 or less. Right now, we pay almost $300 for both bills every month. Think about it. My husband retired for military, but not everybody retired for the military. And they don't care. We have to fight because in the end, they change the company like it happened, and they don't have money and they want to get the money from us. And they're going to say, keep fighting. We have to fight for this because not everybody, like the guy said, all my neighbor is 90 years old, 80 years old. The younger is us. It's not fair. It's not fair. Que we have to pay for the new generation like we not made right long time ago. We have, they told me gonna pay $1 is fine, but on $6, almost $7, it's not fair. It's not fair because you see the increase of the taxes, they don't increase that percent, the only 1% or 2%. Everywhere do you go, they don't increase that percent. They have to wait 1, 2, 3 years or 4. They don't increase all the way in one moment. Be smart about that. Fight because we have to fight because we all. I'm not like 70 years old, but I fight because we live in that house for 33 years and we start paying more and more, and nobody answers sometimes. I'm sorry about that, but you have to think about it in all people, and parents, grandparents, and the other people. Thank you.
Thank you. Ernest Courtney?
Name is Ernest Courtney, Echo Romeo, November Echo Sierra Tango, Ernest. Charlie Oscar Uniform Romeo Tango, November Echo Yankee. First of all, let me say thank you for giving me this moment to speak. I wasn't going to speak. I thought it was a sign-in roster like everyone else. However, I felt that I need to stand up here. I've lived here since 2000. I'm a military retiree. I'm still working. I'm still maybe considered to be a young person. I'll be 64 next month. But the fact of the matter is, as some of the other people have stated, this thing keeps going up and up and up. And it seems like the new companies come in and they try to spread the money as far as they can to recoup their investment of going in and purchasing these companies. And we have seen rate increases. And to be honest, what I'm getting is lacking. The water quality is lacking. My water pressure is lacking. I stay on the end of Rutledge Court. I'm the last house in that court, up the hill. And my water pressure is always,
Okay.
I don't get it. If you want to make upgrades, you want to, perform maintenance, yeah, okay, I see that. But like everyone else has said, you got to spread this to where if it's going to have to come, then you need to spread it out so it's equal to everyone. And we, in this area, are not paying for your 3 other properties or whatever districts that you have to take care of. That's all I have to say. I yield my time. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, sir.
Check pipes that you should be checking. You want us to go outside and check our pipes and determine if they're this or that.
Ma'am?
That's not our expertise,
Ma'am?
okay? You do it.
Ma'am, if you want to speak, you have to come up here, okay?
No, I'm sorry.
It's, all right. Mary Beth O'Connell.
Mary Beth is one word, Marybeeth, O'Connell. The usual way. So, I am in the newest house, the only new house, next to the tower. And so I moved in last year. And, I have to say that the strengths of this water company are the people, because the people that run that plant are really nice people and they're hard workers. They're always working. But the first item on the list was that they replaced something in that well house behind Bob and Joyce's house. And there was they had to go through my yard because there's a right of way through 4 people's yards. So they went through that yard, but there's no communication. And because it's some contractor, we have no idea. When you said that they've completed this project, I didn't know they completed it. I still have all the boards in my yard buried under mud. And we thought they were still working on it. People have had their fences taken down so that they could work on it, and they can't let their dog out in the yard. Like, what you need to improve on is the communication with us so that we have some idea of what's going on. To me, the cost of water, the true cost of providing us water, is what the people in the county are paying, because they're breaking even. So that's the cost of providing water. So everything that's above that, which we're like 4 times above that, is just profit. And I need to see what is this. I mean, I don't think the CEO is hurting. As far as I could see online, he's, worth 7 million or something. I don't know, but it doesn't make sense to the common person. So you need to be more transparent about where this money is going so that we feel good about where the money's going and why our bills are going up so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Paul Forrest.
It's Paul, Paul, and last name Forrest, F like in Frank, ORR.
ORR,
Yes,
okay.
can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
I won't use that. To elaborate a little bit on some of the things we've heard, yes, many of us here are retired. Many of us are on fixed incomes. Many of us are really trying to convert all of our monies together for living day to day. One of the things that I did before coming here was I pulled the Anne Arundel County water rates.
This report. If you could just speak in it, it's more for.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I pulled the Anne Arundel County rates for water. I've lived in the provinces since 1992. And think I'm the original owner on our block when all the houses were built. I moved 2 miles from my previous place to provinces, and I was on Anne Arundel County water and wastewater, one bill, and it worked out fine. Moved 2 miles away, come into the provinces, and all of a sudden we've got 2 bills. Well, Anne Arundel County water as of July 1st, 2024, the rate is $3.45 per 1,000 gallon minimum. Their minimum, 10,000 gallons. If you use 5,000 gallons in a month, you're paying $10,000 worth. And that's not right. That's just not right to do that. So basically, why aren't we paying what Anne Arundel County is paying? And that goes back to what you were mentioning, should be equal. If you don't like T-Mobile, you go to Verizon. You don't like Comcast, you'll go somewhere else. You don't like the electric company, you'll go to a different electric company. You don't like your gas company, you can outsource it to somebody else. Why can't we do that with water? Why can't we do that with water? I say that we try to get off Anne Arundel County water. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that, but maybe together we can figure it out, get a petition or whatever, and leave these gentlemen alone.
Thank you, sir. Georgine Forrest? Okay, okay. All right, Nancy Wolf? No, okay. Nyla Lee? Nyla Lee? No, okay. Morgan? Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm slow. First name is Morgan, Morgan. Last name is Arvane, Arvaneh. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Thank you, Josh. Thank you so much. Very simple, adding numbers together. I'm Morgan Arvane. I live in 7944 Stoneheart Road, provinces since 1980s. A long time. Never seen increase in the water like this much. Yes. But to be reasonable, everything should be reasonable and fair. When we look at this number that they put on our door a few days ago, I appreciate that. Whoever did that, I really appreciate that. You look at these numbers, I am retired, living on limited income in Social Security that they get cut off every year instead of going up. And the medical bill, wife is a cancer patient, has a lot of medical bill. I have disability that I have a lot of medical bill. So everything is limited in my life and in my family life. But when you look at this thing, very simple. If you look at 1,000 gallon in this column, that pre-2022, it shows 175. If you remember very clear, this is almost the price of the gas that used to be per gallon that year. Right now, during these days, gas is $3.50, around $3.50 or so. But this one, instead of 157, you're gonna jump up to 978. Yeah. That is like over 60%, six times higher, 600% or so. From 170, $1.57, you're gonna go to 978. Can you believe if you would go to the gas station, get $9 gas per gallon? Yeah. Everything should be reasonable. I know there is expenses and other stuff going on with the companies that they have to upgrade. System is old and all this thing, but everything should be fair and reasonable so people can stay alive, pay the bills, and get the life going also. Thank you so much.
That looks like Robert Hedgegood? Okay. All right, Timar? Yes. Thank you.
Yes, good
Sir.
evening.
Can you state your name and spell it, please?
Timur, Timur. Mutalimov, Mutalimov.
Thank
As
you.
in Victor.
Thank you,
Yep.
sir.
Good evening. I would like to say hello. From what I heard, I wasn't actually gonna speak, but I signed the paper, so I'm gonna speak. So this is, doesn't matter if it's a new company, if it's an old company. As far from my experience goes, when you're running things, you have a what's called operational budget, which means it's the budget that you plan on spending that particular year. So this is, my thing is, doesn't matter if it's a new company. They did assessment, they know what expenses go on. So they acquired, so operational costs should cover the things that should be done. If it's something major catastrophic, there's probably insurance or something like that, or other means of getting funds. But it shouldn't be pondered on regular working class people, because I work very hard, and I'm sure many people do, many retired people here are on fixed income. And it's very hard when you're already, because costs are going up everywhere. And now you wanna hike up the water bill 95%. So I really hope this can be resolved with not just pondering people, with not just pondering of the bill on regular working class people. And it should be fair, because there is a guarantee that today, even today, you get an increase. There is a guarantee that a year later you won't come back and say now the bill is going to be 400 for the water. So thank you for hearing me out. I appreciate the time given to me.
Brian Thorne? I'm not speaking. Okay. Jennifer Matthews? Or Jennifer, okay.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So my name is Jennifer Matthews. I'm just going to read my notes here. I'm concerned owner in Providence, and I was here 2 years ago. So I was here 2 years ago, and not a lot has been said about the consolidation plan. And that's really detrimental to us. And it is my hope that the provinces can be permanently removed from the consolidation plan. Permanently removed from the current and any future versions of any MWS service consolidations plans. And additionally, this is an insanely high proposed water service rate increase. So 2 years ago, MWS proposed to consolidate the provinces with the other service areas and raise our rate by about 85%. We truly appreciate the work of the commission back then to block the consolidation plan and also limit the rate increase to less than 30%. So now, just 2 years later, we're back and we're facing the same proposed consolidation plan and an even higher water service rate increase, 95, 98%. I've heard different numbers. Additionally, there are minimal changes to the consolidation plan. Therefore, we need the commission to block the consolidation plan. Again, please block the consolidation plan. The provinces only gets water service, as you've heard, from MWS. We do not get sewer services like the other communities. Therefore, why should the Providence community help finance both water and sewer services for communities in Western Maryland that are literally 3 and 4 hours away from where we live and from where we are sitting right now? I work hard to pay the expenses associated with the plot of land deeded to me, and I do not work to share in the payment of water and sewer services expenses for homeowners and renters literally stretched all the way across the state. MWS can spend the consolidation plan any way they want. As we showed 2 years ago, the smaller utilities, such as Pinto, they do not have the capacity to finance their past and future repairs and infrastructure needs. As the numbers were read off, Pinto Highlands totaled $814,000, and that sewer project, because I added up the numbers that were read off, that sewer project has been ongoing for decades. They cannot finance it. That's a small community. The bottom line is, due to our size, MWS needs the provinces to be part of the consolidation, because we would be the largest community entity, and therefore we would bear the disproportionately largest financial burden in the consolidated entity. But that is not the responsibility of the residents of the provinces. The residents of the provinces are responsible for future repairs and infrastructure needs solely within the provinces and the provinces only, not the other communities across the state. Okay, so speaking of which, how does MWS arrive at 95 to 98% rate increase for the provinces? Especially looking at the numbers that were read off, we only had ours added up to $325,000, which is the lowest of all the communities. We had more than 25% rate increase just 2 years ago in 2022. So we, as the residents, need to see where our actual and projected expenses would justify this 95 to 98% increase. I can say with absolute certainty, especially given the $325,000 that was spent, MWS cannot justify a 95 to 98% increase for the province's customers based upon our needs. So therefore, on behalf of my neighbors, I respectfully request the commission review the numbers closely and determine if any rate increase is actually needed. Based upon the numbers, do we even need any rate increase at all? Because they just got a 25% rate increase. Thank you, Cindy, for correcting me. 914 homes 2 years ago. And if, after further review, there is truly a need for a rate increase, we ask that any rate increase is based upon the gap needed to cover the projected cost of repairs and operating expenses and be capped at that amount only. Now, they said themselves that it was $325,000 for the last 2 years, which is nowhere near 95 to 98%. And it may be covered by the 25 or 28% that you granted them 2 years ago. If the commission continues to let MWS have a 25+% rate increase every 2 years, after 8 years or 4 increases, they will achieve their desired 98% increase. These increases, as you have heard, will price my neighbors and I out of our homes. The irony is that the majority of the MWS employees who put these proposals together live in communities with public water that are capped at rates well below what they are proposing that we pay. With that said, in closing, the province's residents, we ask the commission to once again reject including the provinces in the consolidation plan. We ask that you go one step further and remove us from future consolidation plan proposals. The provinces does not have sewer services like the other communities, and including in the provinces would place a disproportionate share of the financial burden of the consolidated entity on us due to the size of our community. Finally, we, the residents, ask the commission to restrict the proposed financial increase to the minimum amount needed to cover projected cost of repairs and operated expenses solely to the provinces only, with the understanding that it could mean no rate increase given the increase implemented in 2022. Thank you very much for your time.
Bruce Brohart?
No, I'll pass.
Okay. Kathy Devan? Okay. Laura Peterson? Lori Peterson?
Believe me when I tell you, you're gonna be able to hear me. Because I'm gonna speak loudly enough and I can't go up there because I'm not talking well.
Well, okay, well, I can hear you, but the court reporter's got to be able to pick everything up, so let me see what we can do here.
Oh, no, that's it.
Yeah. I don't even got anything that could.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
If she can sit here and.
Yeah.
Right, we got an extension, I think we should go.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we were.
That's before you hit that.
Hold on.
All right, sure, yep, no problem.
Go ahead.
Test. All right.
I sit all day. Yeah. Although I would have trouble getting up. I was sitting down there too. Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know me, I am a former president of Severn. And I am here to tell you one thing, gentlemen and ladies. We will fight you every step of the way. Hey! We've won this race at least twice that I was involved before. And as I told Cindy, I've been away from the board for a long time because of family issues. I'm coming back, baby. And we are gonna fight this. This is utterly ridiculous. You have literally lost your mind. Yeah. Yep. Thank you.
Put that up here. Let's see, June Tolbert? Okay. Will Tolbert? All right. Jean Mitchell? Jean Mitchell? Okay. Joyce Gillum?
We thought that was a sign of sheep.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll have to work on my sign there. All right. Jean Gorley?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, Jean Con.
Go have a second bite of the apple. Roland Lewis? Roland Lewis?
Mr. Lewis?
Mr. Lewis?
Mr. Lewis, did you want to say anything?
Oh, okay.
Your turn.
Last name.
And the middle initial is Hammond.
Okay, thank you.
I really don't need this loudspeaker. It's useless. I'm here because I got this little thing in the mail. I can't understand why we should pay more when this county water is only $69.90. That's not right at all. That's almost equal to 2022 rate. A lot has changed and a lot's going to change too. There are too many people in this country trying to strangle people's money from them. We retired, a lot of us. I put 20 years, 5 months, and 26 days in Uncle Sam's army. And I don't regret it. I've been places where you probably have never been. And I've seen the conditions that people overseas live in, and some of it's very bad. I don't want to see this country be that bad. But some people try to take over. It's not right. I have a Korean wife. Yes, I rescued her from her Korean problem. But thinking this would be better in this country. It's getting to be like South Korea. Are you gonna drop water bags on us? No, you better not. You know why there's a lot of people doing what they're doing? Because they're fed up with the system. How do you expect people to pay money when Uncle Sam is $780 trillion in the hole? We're lucky we got money. It won't last if things go the way they go. You think that Mr. Trump is gonna take care of us? Did you hear the other person that he hired? He doesn't care what happens in Ukraine. You know what's gonna happen in Ukraine? If Russia takes over that big atomic pile, they'll be the strongest nation in the world. I don't want to see that happen. And neither should you. Okay, I'm getting off the track here. I appreciate that, and I can't stay any longer. I got a wife that's sick at home, so she's probably going to give me hell when I get back. God bless you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Shelby Rice. Shelby, oh, there you go.
SHELBY. Shelby, like the car, and then Rice, RICE.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I'm Shelby Rice. We've been in the community for about 6 years. I saw this and saw the price increase. I'll be honest, most of my information came from our HOA's Facebook page. And I have a couple questions, very similar to the rest of the residents. One, there has not been a clear consolidation plan that's been given to us. So one, we don't even know besides, oh, our rate's gonna increase, that's it. So one, we'd like to see an actual plan. Two, I'd like to see a budget. Like some of the projects that you listed sounded like routine maintenance, routine replacement of things that happen in water. So if that is routine and those were meant to be replaced, where was that in the budget so that we didn't have some numbers of 9.8% increase right up front? That should have been budgeted in throughout our rates going up. So those are a couple of my questions. And to be honest, like my husband and I are getting ready to go down to a single income. I'm a stay-at-home mom because we can't afford childcare on top of it. So with that kind of increase on our utilities too, like we're looking at, having to redo our budget and lessen food, lessen all of these other things. So I want to see a budget and how this money is going to be spent. I want to understand like how did we come to this number of what we're getting at? Because I do, like some of these people in this community, I want to retire someday and I need to be able to put money away to do that. So thank you for your time.
Happy Eckford?
No, I've already spoken.
Ray Garcia? Diane Bullock?
I'm Diane Bullock, Bullock, Diane with one N. And I'm just going to kind of piggyback off of a lot of the comments that were made by my neighbors. I've been in the provinces since 1999. I'm also a licensed real estate agent and I've sold homes to a lot of people in the provinces. And I see how the price of housing has already gone up and the struggle that people have with meeting, just housing. With the water increase, yes, we did see a huge increase about 2 years ago. We were not notified until recently that there was going to be another increase. And with the work that they said was done, it's a big company. And when you do your projections every year, don't you project for the upgrades and things that you have to do in these communities? And like my other neighbor said, why would we have to pay for another state's portion or another community's portion of your increases? We need to pay for just what's in ours, but something reasonable, because a 95% increase is ridiculous. I don't even see that in a lot of housing. And housing and rents, like everything else, have gone up, okay? But people need to live, and water is like, that's something that we need to live off of. And the rates that we're paying for it now, these other communities around here do not pay for that. And we don't have the option of going to the public water because we have to take what was given to us. So I think that we need to see an outline of, well, your projections for how we got at this rate for our community, the work that was done. And like the one neighbor said, that there's something still left undone in her backyard. How many other backyards have that are, unrepresented here right now tonight? We need to see where this money that you all are asking for from us, where is it going to? I haven't seen any big changes. And just like one of the other neighbors said with water pressure and things like that, mine has still been the same that it's always been. So, I think that it's unfair that we're consolidated with the other communities. And I think that it's unfair to project this increase on us just to pay your salaries, your increases, and whatever else it takes to run your business, because you should have projected for that some other kind of way, and don't dump it on the biggest community because we have more residents who you think could pay for it because we can't.
Mavis Brown?
I'll pass.
Rachel Stewart?
Speak into the mic.
Yes, sir. Rachel Stewart, Rachel. Stewart, Stewart. Awesome. Hi, everybody. So unfortunately, I can't say that I've been here as long as some of you guys. So my husband and I moved here about 5 years ago, also in this fall. And can I just say one huge thank you to, it's so encouraging to see all of you out here fighting, speaking up for the community. It really warms my heart to know that I moved into such a great community in the first place. We moved into provinces buying our first home, hoping to grow our family and live in the beautiful neighborhood that we've come to very much love. Now we are pregnant, so due in January, and being that, thank you. We certainly are feeling the pressures of the current economy, the current rates, everything outside of water that's been building up. But as a growing family, it's very concerning to see how this water company is handling these increases, making the community more difficult to live in, with growing communities, older folks in the community, new families across the whole board. Everybody's feeling the hardships. So truly, it makes our home should be a sanctuary from the outside world, especially with a newborn in the house. I'm very scared that we're going to feel the impacts. Like, the water bill should be the last thing on my mind, bringing new life into this world. And here I am concerned that I'm going to be thinking about my water bill every time I'm giving my newborn a bath. So onto the more technical side of things, I do have some questions that I would like answers for. So as a project manager myself, 5 years in commercial construction, I see inefficiencies in government and private companies on a daily basis that drive me nuts. But they do cause unnecessary change orders and added cost. Clearly, we have seen evidence of mismanaged projects due to the lady's backyard and the lack of communication that was provided to her for that construction project that occurred, and the mismanagement of the subcontractor teams that were out there. So my questions would be, I would like to know what initial budgets were for projects that were projected versus actual cost. A huge impact in those final costs of projects are change orders, unforeseen conditions, how problems are actually being mitigated, and how your subcontractors are actually being managed. So what are your processes? Well, so first off, what were the original budget, and then what was the actual cost at the end? What are the unexpected conditions that had come up for those unexpected costs, causing that differential in your budget versus actual costs? How do you contract your engineers and subcontractors who perform the work? Are they competitive bid, where you get a minimum of 3 competitive bids and then do the best value? Is it lowest bid, or do you have standing contracts where people can hike their rates and basically they're comfortable knowing that you're going to hire them no matter what, and they can just charge a little extra every single time until it gets to be a little bit outrageous? Those are my questions. I look forward to seeing your responses, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Catherine King. Okay. Deborah Davenport. All right. Michael Stevens.
Name is Michael, Michael Stevens, Stevens. So I've lived in the provinces with my wife and 3 children since 2017. I'm an Anne Arundel County professional firefighter, so government salary, a lot like everybody. 2 of our kids are in daycare. We go to the kinder care right down here. We pay $1,000 a week. A week. So once we start getting on these added costs, you know, that's kind of hard to afford. My wife works in public service, you know, government salaries. We're not we don't have the luxury of saying, hey, I need a raise. I get a raise when the government says I get a raise. That's what we got. So with all these cost raises going up, like, I get it, but that's a lot. Speaking of my 3 kids, I live on Citadel Drive, right in the middle of the line. You know, water pressure is okay, but 2 out of 3 times I give my kids a bath, that water's dirty. We thought it's a water heater. I replaced the water heater. It's not the water heater. I'm on a main line. I should not be getting dirty water to bathe my kids in. You know, 2 out of 3 baths a week. They get more than 3 baths a week. Sorry. So I'm also speaking to you as, you know, a small business owner. I know many of you guys in this community. Thank you guys. But thank you. So, you know, one of those things that happen are operational costs. I understand you guys bought the company in 2021. You know, maybe if you guys had to upgrade your system this much, maybe you guys should have looked at that investment a little bit more before you purchased. So on our projects, if something breaks down, guess what? I got to cover that cost out of my budget. My clients don't care. They don't care. They don't care that something broke down or something doesn't work. They expect that project to get completed at a fair market cost. And right now we are not paying a fair market cost. If these rates go through, that's ridiculous. It's why we shouldn't have monopolies in this country. And I'm not for it.
Like Morgan Stevens?
That's my wife, she's got the little one.
Okay,
They're reading books.
all right. Amanda Rohrbal? Amanda Press? No. No, okay. David Guerrero? Thank you.
My name is David Warnero, David Guarnero. Okay. So the main question I have is outside of air, water's probably up there and needed for life. So I guess the main question is, how did our government allow water to be privatized and monopolized? We don't have any choice. And two, I would really like to know how much money, how much of this increase, how much is going to stock buybacks, dividend payments, and senior executive payments. Also, I guess, one other question is, okay, so you have these improvements, but these increases aren't for a year. They're not for 5 years, they're forever. And also, are there going to be some sort of price caps at some point? Should we expect 90% increases every few years? Is it going to be a price freeze for a decade? I mean, we don't have a whole lot of information outside of, I think it's since 2020, it's about a 400% increase. So that's all of the questions I have. Thanks.
Michael Baker or Jennifer Baker? Michael.
Michael Baker, Michaelbaker. I'll be able to keep it short because a lot of people have spoken eloquently. You didn't plan. There are upgrades or operating costs. You came up here, you gave not even an eloquent speech about all these increases, and to find that it is going to benefit other communities for your profit to kind of like, it's like replace your costs. Like you didn't even plan to have O&M. You didn't even plan to see who was in this community. You didn't look at a budget to go, who am I affecting? What you came down and basically said is, I don't care.
Yes, right.
I want to reiterate that there's a lot of people that spoke eloquently. As a president, to know your community, to not to know the people that you're affecting, and to not even to show the work was done. You didn't itemize anything. You didn't show any type of improvement. I have a shed, a water punch on my property, taking up some of my property so that your company can operate. But in the back, you closed off my fence area where we cannot even mow. We have to every year kill poison ivy. And you don't come around regularly. And if you do, you don't address the problem. So if you're someone standing up speaking for your company, you have not done a good job, not even for your company and knowing its operating processes, but people. I saw you come up, I was like, well, maybe hopeful. Smart looking young man. All you did was, I need to make sure that I can make expenses for my company. Maybe they're right. 401k. Who would say we need to pay salaries? Who would do that? Who would say I need to make a profit? Who would do that? You need to break down what the problems were efficiently and show what you're repairing. All you're saying is, I want to live large. Pay me. No. This proposal, like the woman said, should not even be honored, should not even be considered. It should not be honored. You have not even done any due diligence to show that you're providing a service to people. You saw an opportunity to take over something and make money.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Rebecca Antonio? Nicholas McKinney?
That's NICHOLASMCKINNEY. So my wife and I moved into this neighborhood just a little over a year ago, so we haven't been here that long. We originally came from California, from San Francisco. Everybody knows how expensive that is. And so when we moved over here, we were expecting our cost of living to go down by a lot. And so I was surprised when I got that letter from Anne on our mailbox that showed really extortionate price increases. Yeah, I mean, there's a phrase about like boiling a frog, and yeah, they really turned up the heat on us really high. And so yeah, it was interesting because when we first purchased the house, the previous owner told us, who was also from California, how it was weird that we were paying 2 water bills. And so when he mentioned the prices weren't that bad, like compared to where we're from, I was like, okay, you know, whatever. But seeing these prices increases really galvanized me and to come to this meeting, really. I haven't really ever been interested in local politics, or I haven't really paid much attention to it before. That changed when I saw that again. And I appreciate the presentation from the company, but to be honest, like somebody else said, I don't really care what their costs are. They're a private company. They could do whatever they want to do, but I don't really care. They could give us the budget, and I think that's better than nothing. But ultimately, I think that it would be in our best interest to get rid of a private company managing water. Yeah, water is one of the basic utilities that a government should provide. It's not something that should be privatized. And in the worst case, you know, you can have multiple companies, but that's not something you could really do with water. So I'd like to see the county get involved, or some local politician, to try to get us out of this kind of situation. We're paying a private company for water in addition to the county. Beyond that, question that I had was just what the legal limitations were, if there are any, to these kinds of price increases. Somebody else mentioned that they didn't know, like, we know that the increase in price isn't ever going to go down, but how often can they increase it, and by how much? Their word isn't legally binding. So what legal limitations do they have for how much they can increase their prices over time while they still have power? And so, yeah, the last thing I just wanted to see was, and this isn't something that could be answered tonight, but I wanted to figure out like who I could talk to, or what kind of politicians are actually seeing this issue and are willing to figure out if they can help solve the problem. Yeah, that's all I want to say.
Rachel McKinney? Sherry Lee? Sherry Lee?
Oh, I passed.
Okay. Susan Kennedy? Ma'am, do you want us to run the mic back to you? Okay. My apologies.
I do not have a license to drive this thing. Susan, S-U-S-A-N. Kennedy, just like the president. Somebody his generation knows how to spell that. So, apologize for my friend here, but I've had 2 spinal surgeries, and God bless my neighbor Jeannie there. Without her, I never would have survived. But I'm walking again, so that's a plus. And my dream I had been a single parent all my life. I am a registered nurse, and I am still practicing. And in 2004, my dream was to finally own my own home and finish taking care of my son and having a legacy of a home to leave to him when I pass on. Well, I don't know what your beliefs are. I am a Christian. And the Lord took my son home 10 years ago because of leukemia. So that left me with this beautiful house that I have decided I am determined to live there, retire there. The cost of this surgery was about $30,000 out of pocket. So I'm not retiring anytime soon. Thanks to my local little raccoon, I had to put a roof on my house recently. And the expenses are just getting way, way more than any nurse's salary can handle. And when I saw Jeannie provided me with this information, because I didn't get an email, I didn't get anything taped to my door or anything, and without Jeannie, I wouldn't have known about this. When I moved in, I counted to the cost what my budget was going to be every month. Nobody told me we had a private company for water. So I went from $22 every 3 months to double that. And now it sounds like it's going to be what? I don't know what, 8 times that, 10 times that it's going to be. I'm not going to be able to live my dream. I'm not going to be able to afford this house, this community, if things like this keep happening. When somebody buys a business, if they're smart, they investigate what they're buying. Okay, it's always buyer beware, right? You investigate, you make sure that what needs to be fixed, just like when we sell our houses, you want to have it inspected, right? They didn't do their due diligence. It's quite obvious.
Oh, they did. But they didn't do their due diligence with the other properties.
Right.
They did it with us.
Right.
Because they knew we were profitable.
Exactly.
There.
But that's not it shouldn't be our problem to solve the problems of all of the other communities when we can't get clean water. I have had to redo the pipes in my front yard out to that so-called connection 4 times in 20 years at a cost of over $1,000 each time. This is not a good thing. We need to, I'm all with the neighbors that said we need to get somebody in politics involved. We need to be able to get back under the county or under the county, because this is just simply a bad, bad idea. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Crystal Waters?
Yeah.
My name is Krista Waters, Krysta. Yeah, Krysta Waters. All right, so I don't have too much to say, but to me, this just comes down to greed, which really, really bothers me. It feels like it's just taking advantage of military families, retirees, old people being taken advantage of. It's just not right to do. I am the same. We are living on living on one income. I am a stay-at-home mom. My husband is military. We can't afford the childcare like he's paying. We can't afford it. I can work, but all my paycheck would go to childcare. So we're already tight on money because we're living on one income and we're a military family. My husband's serving our country and we're being taken advantage of. We didn't even know either when we moved in that this was private water. No one disclosed that to us. So as soon as I found that out, I was like, oh Lord, here we go. And I am right, because this is happening. I knew that a private company would come to take advantage. Also, we have lived everywhere because we're a military family. We've lived all over the country. Never have I had so much water shenanigans happening all the time. I was pregnant when I moved in 2022. I was pregnant, had my daughter in November of 2022. And And when you have a newborn and a toddler, you're using water a lot. And all these out of nowhere, like last minute shenanigans of like, hey, guess what? You can't use your water today. Okay, well, I have a small child. I got to use my water. So why are we paying so much and having a price increase for all these shenanigans? We should have like from the Alps crystal pure water or something for how much this is going to cost. We should be paying comparable to city water. Really, we should. Water is a basic human right. Why are we paying so much when everyone around us is paying so much less? And we can't wait to leave because of stuff like this. Is that how you want to make people in this neighborhood feel? Like, I can't wait to leave here? You know, and soon you're gonna drive all these people out of their homes. Sure, you might get rich people. I'm not sure how many rich people are gonna want houses from the 70s, but you're gonna drive all these people out. And that's not right either. Let's take care of the people of this community and neighborhood. There should be no increase at all. Thank you.
Russell Wagner?
Me. Good evening. It's Russell, Russell. Wagner, Wagner. Thank you. I don't have a whole lot of points to add to the argument because all of you wonderful people have made everything I was thinking of public and raised the questions. I will say that I think Siri or whoever that was speaking back there was aiming at them because we don't understand what you're proposing. I don't know if you set that up, but it was well played. I'm retired military, been in the provinces almost 20 years. My wife is a realtor. I am fortunate enough to work on Fort Meade with a lot of military personnel and young people coming into this area. And I don't know if I can, in good conscience, recommend them moving to the provinces just because of this concern, let alone the electric, crime, and everything else. But the water being a reason not to recommend a place to reside, it's almost criminal. I understand free business and all that, but your company is not dealing with your customers in a fair manner. And that's all I've got to add. Thank you.
Susan Hewitt? Susan Hewitt? Okay. Dan Matlin or Maitland?
My name is Dan, D-A-N, Matlin, M-A-T-L-I-N. So I'm sorry I missed the beginning of this meeting, but I'm guessing the water company or the folks in suits that can decide there. And then I guess, are you representing the board or the?
I'm the judge.
The judge. So I guess whoever's, yeah, I'm just trying to think about who to talk to, but I guess like everyone else has said that since I've been here, you know, we have a lot of questions. For one, I want to see a budget and specifically how much profit this private company is making with these rate increases. And also how many like bonuses are these executives making? Because you see the people that you're like squeezing money out of. I just don't understand like how you can do that. But you should at least be upfront about like, okay, we're causing these rate increases just so we can make more money and pay for the suits that you're wearing. I guess to the governing community and board, like how can you allow this to happen? I mean, I think everyone here can see what's happening. They had the rate increase 2 years ago. They proposed a much higher rate, and then I guess we settled on like something in between. And maybe we think as the community that we won, and I'd like to think that all the people that spoke out like helped with that, and that's great. But to the water company, they're like, okay, it's a rate increase. We'll just try again in 2 years. And here they are trying to get in 2 years. What are they going to do? after, so they're proposing this high rate, maybe we'll adjust somewhere in the middle, and then they'll just keep proposing and proposing. But like someone else in the community said, we're gonna keep fighting you on this. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. And I really hope that the board sees what they're doing and just says, like, no, just stop it. They should be punished for even trying this. This is absolutely ridiculous. To the water company, I mean, just listen to the people in the community you're trying to squeeze money out of. I mean, some people are just barely getting by, and you're doing this to make a profit. I mean, how can you guys sleep at night? Like, honestly, like, that can't make you guys feel good about yourselves. Yeah, I guess so. And so lastly, I'll just say, I know we looked at this, or we talked about this, the last rate increase. I'd like to look again at switching to county water. I know that, like, it looked like a large upfront cost or whatever, but, you know, speaking for myself personally, I would rather pay money to the county, even if it's more money, than to pay these people for a private company that's just trying to make a profit.
Is there anybody whose name I didn't call who would like to speak? Oh, wait.
have a question. The province is sitting on top of the water bill, and we had our own company. Why cannot the provinces join the rest of Anne Arundel County in city water? Why?
That's not an issue that's before the commission, sir.
Well, but who can I ask?
I'd start with the county. Sir, would you like to speak? All right.
No, go ahead.
Here, sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to come up here just so we can get it on the record, okay?
Good evening. My name is Vernon, Vernon. Last name is Jump, Jump. I'm not sick, everyone, I promise. Just want to be safe. Can everyone hear me? Good evening, everyone. Louder. Let's try this again. Good evening. I'm here because my parents cannot be. My parents are older and they're, retired, fixed income. And I look at this, I see predatory pricing. And I'm ashamed that this is happening to my community. I see people that are my neighbors and see people that I'm just now meeting. And I'm just flabbergasted that a public good has been privatized, and now we're funding this. Rachel, I too work in the construction industry. You stole my thunder. Every single thing that you said is exactly what I was going to ask, except for one. Are these rates auditable? If they are auditable, show us the backup. Show us the reason why these costs are so exorbitant. What is our money going to? Show us that. We all want to understand. And I guess, I have to ask you, Mr. Spriggs, if your mom received something like this, how would you feel? And would you be happy about it? I don't think so. I think you'd be standing right here with me. Oh, I have one more question. The last rate increase, from my understanding, went to arbitration. I can't speak to that. This is not formal. But those findings were never published. I tried to get a copy of them on behalf of my parents, could not get a copy. Will all this be a part of the general proceedings for this case as part of public record? Because if it is, I'd like to see the transcripts on the decision.
All the documents that have been filed in this case are available on the commission's website.
Okay, thank you very much.
They should be for the last case as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, anybody else who'd like to speak whose name I haven't called yet? Yes, sir, and I'll come right back to you.
John. Okay. John. J-O-H-N, Meinhardt, M-E-I-N-H-A-R-D-T.
Thank you.
I'm gonna jump. Mr. Jump, thanks for stating, excuse me. Thanks for saying the words article. I had worked as a DCA auditor. So question. I do not see a matching between the revenue and your costs for the provinces. We, as a DCA auditor, one thing I would be looking for is a contractor trying to move costs from one contract that was not profitable to another contract where there was still money. You appear to be moving the cost from places that you basically should not have bought to the provinces. You're asking us to pick up your load because you screwed up your management. And I'm looking forward to be able to see these stuff. You had some people from the some government agencies that did their own analysis.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to know where the hell they got their numbers.
Sir.
I put more politely, I say, where did you get that number?
Rebecca, R-E-B-E-C-C-A.
Speak into the mic, please.
R-E-B-E-C-C-A. Lichtenstein, Lichtenstein.
Thank you.
Hi, I've lived in the provinces since 2019 and I missed the beginning with the presentation, but you know, I did want to say that water is a right, not a privilege, clean water, drinkable water. And to me, what I see happening here is price gouging, which if I'm not mistaken is illegal. And I think we need to get our local government involved to protect us. That's what they're there for. And, you know, to find out if what's going on is even legal. Thank you.
Anybody else in town I haven't called who would like to speak?
My name's Hao Ping Chai. It's spelled H-A-O-P-I-N-G. Last name is Chai, C-H-A-I.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. My name is HP, one of the newly elected board members to our PCA HOA, right? So figured I'd maybe just do a bit of summation to help us out, right? So obviously we feel a certain way about this, right? You see a lot of emotions coming out. We've challenged you directly to say, hey, if your family got this bill, how would you react? If you got the bill, how would you react? You'd be right here with us, right? So we're all equally flabbergasted and how you could propose this to us. But equally, I'd like to ask the commission for accountability, right? We don't have access to their balance sheet. We don't have access to their budgets. So we want more transparency, right? We want to see how these contracts are being awarded. We want to see where this money is being spent, right? So you think you're being transparent, but you're not, right? We need transparency in the right manner. I'd like you to take into consideration the specific population that you see before you, right? We have a population of elderly, right? We have a population of disabled veterans, service members, right? Specific members in the community that are on a fixed income and cannot cannot handle an increase at 92%, right? So as you make your decision, right, to take these factors into account on how this might impact and it might have dire impacts, consequences for our community members. Moving out, healthcare needs, medication, right? That's just say the least. But I'd like to see a balance sheet, right? And I think most of us would like to see a budget. And not to belabor any of these points that we've already mentioned tonight. Thank you for your time. Oh, sorry, for those of you that did not speak, let's like flood their inbox with some comments, right? Let's make sure our voices are heard. Let's ride the wave of emotion tonight, right? And make sure that we're being heard tonight. That's all I got to say.
Anybody else who hasn't spoken who'd like to speak? Yes.
You called my name and I didn't come up because I figured somebody would know that. My name is Kathleen Devan, K-A-T-H-L-E-E-N, Devan, D-E-V-A-N. I don't live in the provinces. Well, wait a minute. I stay with her. But my daddy built my house in 1961 on Cedar Drive off Severn Road. So I was there. I was there before y'all were ever built. That was a great big field. I learned how to drive there. There was a frog pond. And if you saw a car, you waved, because that's the Slomskys and they're going to bowling right now. You knew everybody on all these roads. So about 15 coming home from school, I would stop and clean all these people's houses for them. Hey, as a kid at Meade, I thought I was rich. A lot of those people are still there. They're not here now because most of them are in their 80s or 90s. My husband cuts grass in the neighborhood. He's got a whole collection of old ladies. We take care of them. I swing in, I make sure they have food. We check on them. They need something done, check their mail. We have a collection of old people. My old people are not here. My old people are not here tonight. Most of them do not have a computer. They don't know how to use it. They will get intimidated. Some of them started using the bus, which is cool, but then they're scared to get up there that far. One thing that nobody has mentioned tonight, if you don't pay your water bill, they can put a lien on your house and sell it. The state takes your house. My old people could be homeless, and that's a sad state. So these people have lived here since the houses went up. I mean, I don't ever want to see that. I hate to think of it because I feel like they're my family. And nobody's really brought them up because they're not able to be here tonight to tell you that they need somebody to fight for them. So.
Anybody else who'd like a second bite at the apple?
Say something to the first.
You can, it may not be picked up in the transcript. That's the only problem, ma'am. Sorry. Thank you.
Cynthia Williams again, CYN.
Okay,
Yeah, I was earlier. Williams.
I'll catch you. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I just want to say, if you all want to stay after the hearing for a few minutes, I can address the crowd about this issue. It shouldn't take very long. It looks like we're just about done here. No?
We're here as long as, until they kick us out, we're not gonna.
Yeah, I just like to say some things to the community, just by ourselves.
Thank you.
After the hearing. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? Going once, twice. Oh.
What you gonna do it after Julie? Everybody's talking.
All right, so the question was, what am I gonna do after tonight?
Yeah.
All right.
Like it used to say.
Okay.
We have neighbors.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to my neighbors yesterday. They don't know.
Okay.
Because they don't get the paper. They don't read the paper.
Well, what you can tell your.
We a lot of people like that. They cannot do a program.
Okay, all right, so I've got 2 more public hearings. I have to go out beyond Cumberland tomorrow night, and then there's gonna be a public hearing up in Edgewood in Hartford County on August 5th. All right, if folks weren't able to make it tonight, or even if you did make it tonight and you want to supplement whatever you said, you can file written comments on the commission's website, okay? Or you can mail them in. Happy to give you the mailing address. We'll show you how to do that through the website. It's very easy to do. I know some of you have done it already, okay? And then there's evidentiary hearings, like a trial. It's going to happen at the end of August, okay? Thank you, ma'am. All right. Yes, ma'am.
I just have a question. You said you were going to 2 other places.
Yes, ma'am.
Do they happen to be like the Lakeside Vista and the?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, they're happy because,
We're paying for them. Yeah.
All right. Ma'am, in the back. They absolutely can, and if they want, they can try and participate virtually. We had one person participate. She didn't want to speak, but as far as I know, she was able to hear everything. So if they send us an email, they'll be able to, I can send them the link so they can try and participate. If not, they can always send in the written comments, ma'am. Okay?
So if we take it a little step further, let's go to the next step. So you got your evidentiary hearing. Got it. What's next? Where does this go?
You come up, come here, come on up.
I'll do it, I'll do it.
give us
All right,
your
so,
name.
okay, so your question is, what happens after the evidentiary
What
hearings?
are the steps? What's your timeline? Where are we going with this? Where does it end?
My
For this.
evidentiary hearings are scheduled for the end of August. After the parties submit briefs, kind of like written arguments, I'll issue an order at the end of September.
Okay, and we're all gonna get that. It's gonna be posted. It's gonna be public disclosure.
Yes, sir, they always are.
All right. We look forward to that.
Yes, sir.
Can I get your name, please?
Barry Johns, Barry Johns.
Thank you.
Is that hearing, is that public?
Yes, sir, it's open to the public and it will also be live streamed on YouTube, sir. And if you like, I can show you how to find our channel. Yes, ma'am.
I just have one more comment to add. So we've lived in the province.
Ma'am, let me get the mic to you, so. Thank you.
Give me your name again, please.
Georgine. It's Georgene. Forest, Forrest. Okay, hi. So we've lived in the provinces for over 30 years, 32 years. And when we, for the last 25 years,
Keep it down, thank you.
for the last 25 years or so, you know, we had our first, whoever owned us before, the province's water company, we never had any issues and we didn't have any outrageous increases. And we were able to sustain ourselves. And then we were bought by this other company. And now every time you turn around, like we were on the call after COVID when they were proposing the first rate and everybody was protesting, and to have to keep doing this over and over again is a little ridiculous. So I want to know, this company seems to go around buying profitable private water companies. Are they planning on buying other companies to help pay for additional resources, you know, to help pay for this? Is that in your plan? I would like to have that question answered. And again, I also agree with everyone else where I don't think we should have any increases because we've already had an outrageous increase. And to keep asking over and over again, you know, we're paying for capital funds. Typically, you know, our water rate should be based on a rate for our water usage, not for the capital funds. And shouldn't they have a separate proposal that they come to the commission to ask, you know, their community for payment for that? I mean, why should we be paying for, you know, where you said you're going?
Into Highland Estates and the Lake Vista.
Yes, for those two areas, why should we have to pay for them when we've been here for 30 years? We paid our dues. We've paid our front footer assessment. We've paid for all our infrastructure. So it's really unfair to our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is still just more of a question for, well, I'm not really sure who can answer it. Somebody mentioned here.
Can I just state your name again, please?
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
Nicholas McKinney. You already have it there. MCK.
Okay, go ahead. I'll find it.
Yeah, so somebody in the crowd mentioned that there had been a proposal earlier about getting city water to kick out the private company, but that there might have been like a large upfront cost. Is there somewhere where I could find out more about that? Because I still think in the end, having water managed by the government is better because our vote actually matters. We could ask them for documentation and where all the money is going towards, but ultimately we don't really have a choice with a private company. We can't switch water providers. And with the government, at least we can vote for somebody that can help alleviate the issue. So I wanted to find out more about what this kind of upfront cost would be to get city water here. So that way we don't have to deal with the water company here.
Anybody else before we wrap up? Yes, ma'am.
Well, it's just a question for you. So you are Judge Abby?
No, that's just an individual who's participating. My name's Chuck McLean.
So you said there's going to be an evidentiary hearing,
Yes, ma'am.
and this meeting is recorded.
Yes, ma'am.
So who on the panel is going to review this and make the selection whether there's an increase or not a increase? Not an increase,
It is there's no panel. It's just one judge. It's myself, ma'am.
just you.
Yes, ma'am.
Ah, okay, but thank you, didn't know that.
Yes, sir.
When is it gonna be, we would find out in the community that what this final decision is?
End of September, sir.
Thank
No later than September 26th.
How will you find out? Is it gonna be email or? Right?
All the commission orders are posted online. Now, how you would get individual notice, I'm not sure.
He's asking because a lot of the residents don't, a lot of people, like the other lady said, don't use email. Because there are a lot of older residents, and this water company has not been that transparent because we have not gotten mailings or anything like that. So this is a big surprise for some. For some, it's not because we've been there before. So we just want to know when this is all going to take effect, because people need to prepare for anything that may happen.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I want to know if you make the wrong decision, what can we do?
My orders can be appealed to the commission, which is a 5-member panel appointed by the governor. Yes, sir.
I have a question. So obviously there's a lot of questions that we have. Is there a part of this process we can get our questions answered from MWS?
Well, hopefully they're sticking around. They said they'd stick around at the beginning of the meeting, so hopefully they can answer some of the questions that you have. Yes, ma'am.
I was at the last meeting this week, the statewide. I got the sense there that there was a lot of similar frustration, a lot of good, evidence that put forth by the people that were in the room. They got the sense that it was a futile effort. And I'm just getting the sense now, I just want to know, how much weight do you give to what we were supposed to give?
Ma'am, I consider all the comments that I received, both at these meetings and in writing, when I issue the order.
No, I'm really respectfully trying to understand, because obviously the water company has its representatives, it has its lawyers, it has its statistics and studies on what they've done. We have a legal representative here, is that correct, ma'am? So I guess I wanted to know, it's like when you're in college, they give certain weight to certain parts of your class, whether you do a grade. I want to know how much weight you give to us.
There's no specific weight given to any particular part of a case.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Piggybacking on to what she's saying, how did you come to your decision? Is it based on legal?
Everything. I mean, we're getting a little bit far away, but very generally, I make my decisions based on the record of the case.
That doesn't mean anything to me.
I base it on what's introduced into evidence.
So if they give you the evidence saying that they need this money to operate our water, then you say, okay.
No, I base it on the evidence. I can't really get into the specifics of this case, but I would take the same approach in this case as I have in all the other cases I've been doing for the last 10 years. Yes, ma'am.
How soon, if it's granted and they get the increase, how soon would that increase go into effect? And is it gonna be over years that they get that increase, or is it a one-time hit?
I can't answer that. Can't answer that. That's much more of a procedure. Yes, sir.
So how are you appointed? If we vote you in, do you have a time period, or you just, the county said, hey, hire this guy?
I work for the state, sir.
Okay, so you work for the state. So what is our recourse should this go similar as it did in 22.
As I said earlier, my decisions can be appealed. Yes, sir.
What's the largest rate increase you've ever approved?
I don't know off the top of my head, sir, and every case is different.
Did you see all the documents he put it to you, prove it, they gave me that money? He showed you the budget, everything he gonna do it for, because it's 1 year, and he gonna fix it. But after the year, they're gonna have cleaning money coming to the company. Do you have the paper completed, everything, the block, what are you gonna use all that money? The company showed it to you, because you don't see the whatever people make over here, some people make $600, they make $1,000,000 every year, because they're gonna fix it 1 year, that's not broke every 5 years, maybe take 20 years to fix that machine again. Do you see the paper, they have the budget?
Ma'am, all the evidence will come in during the hearing, so I really can't say anything more about that. Yes, ma'am.
So who presents our evidence for us?
I mean, this is why we're here. I'm taking your comments and they'll go into consideration when I issue the order. But you also have the Office of People's Counsel, which is an independent state agency that represents all of the residential ratepayers' interests for Marylanders.
So what I'm hearing is that you will look at whatever they provide you, evidentiary, all the evidence that they will generate, right? In whatever format, which is probably a legal format, and then versus the evidence that you will consider from us will be whatever transcripts come out of these hearings. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Just take into, I just want to say one thing, just take into consideration that you're listening to a lot of emotion. Okay, I know that you're supposed to be impartial and unbiased and all of that, but you're listening to a lot of emotion because this is really affecting all of us. A lot of us understand how businesses operate as well. And I do ask that you look at the transparency of the documents that they provide, but also take into heart what we're saying, because we are acting on emotion right now, but this is going to affect us and our families. So don't,
I understand that. I understand that. There's.
I just wonder if we're gonna receive copy or we're able to see the transcript or some sort of transcript at the convention.
Do we have any more questions about the case itself? Because I think I can answer a lot of these questions without going on to the meeting, about the meeting. All right. Yes, all the way in the back.
Is it possible for members of the community to talk to the People's Council to find out what the rules are? Because when I was a DCA auditor, I'd go to federal acquisition regulation and it'd tell me what was allowed and what was not allowed.
I don't want to speak for People's Council, but I'm sure that they'd be more than happy to either answer your question or point you in the right direction. Yes, ma'am, in the blue.
Yes, so at the beginning, I believe the young lady, she mentioned numbers, the proposal from your company, proposed, what the water, what you all, the People's Council believe the proposal should be. Oh, I didn't. You didn't put those numbers.
I did, ma'am.
Oh, you did, okay, thank you, sir. So based on those numbers, each, it was, if I recall, it was 3 different numbers, each over 1 point something mil, okay? Based on those numbers, reality, are we looking at a race increase based on race? One of those 3?
I can't answer that, ma'am.
Okay.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Well, it's similar because the numbers that I heard that People's Council put forward, it sounds like their proposal for a rate increase was maybe $600,000 or so less than MWF, but that would lead me to believe that is based on the consolidation, and we want to be considered individually. So I'm concerned about the People's Council representing us
as an individual entity, which is how we want to be represented. So my question to you, and you may not be able to answer, but for consideration, if I need to come to the mic, for this is in the record, but it was in my remarks, is can provinces be considered individually for 0 rate hike based upon the previous rate hike, or solely based upon our own numbers, because the numbers I heard from People's Council had us in as a collective under the consolidation. So that's my concern with the numbers that I heard presented in the beginning, and as I started to look at what was on your website.
I would just encourage you to talk to the Office of People's Council, man. I can't really get into specifics of what could, may or may not happen. Anybody else? All right, thank you very much for attending. I really appreciate you coming out tonight.